mean, honestly, I don't know why they're not more popular. Castle Siege is immensely popular, just sort of as a genre. By far the most popular videos on our channel anyways are Castle Siege, hence all the Epic Siege series. And we've been trying to get, some Epic Siege for this campaign, but it's the nature of a campaign. Sometimes there's a lot of open field battles. Sometimes the enemy doesn't congregate as much. But, man, this has been an absolute fucking dogfight to push our way in here. Just non-stop fucking fireballs scorching our troops. They're still hitting us, and it's the penalty you pay sometimes. If you're in a hurry, well, sometimes you suffer the consequences. Didn't destroy those fire catapults. I can just see it lighting people up. Fortunately, we had, our family members and nobles back a ways. Not really going to involve them here to the very last push, so they don't get immolated, because the odds, I think, of getting killed by those fireballs are lower when it's a noble. I think I remember reading that somewhere or something. And of course, there's a couple perks that I think affected as well. But man, I mean, this has been a bloodbath. And there were like 500 defenders, and they are just fighting like wolves. This castle we want, right? Rhylan wants this castle. I want this castle. God, they're still flaming us. It's a good defendable castle. It's also incredibly beautiful. Like, if I was going to move into a castle, this might be it. Out of the way here, boys. I don't know what to call Rhylan, right? We've never come up with, a name for him. Can't fucking get through here. Just like he says, come on! I'm in charge here. You guys won't get out of the way. We're getting fucking... They're still throwing rocks at us. I mean, we might draw and quarter some people after this battle here. Starting to get a little bit pissed off here. They're shooting us. The little militia are shooting down into the fucking gatehouse here. And kick that guy in the back. Let's do some fucking war crimes here, right? Don't forget, Rhylan, of course, is the son of Baron York, so the odds of him going through this campaign without some travesties of nature and some other things is pretty low, right? In fact, let's get on some war crime here. Have a little arrow in the jugular, dude. It hurts, don't it? Right? Shit's gurgling, your warm blood is trickling into your lungs. That probably hurts. Let's kill some of these guys fleeing here. But for sure, right, Lord of the Rings and the Two Towers, both of the huge sieges are just engraved in the minds of people all across the genre, all across, basically, I was going to say Great Britain and the United States, but it's anybody who's seen those films. They're so intimate, they're so epic. And this thing is epic, right? You're just way up here on the countryside, kind of like they would build castles back in the day. One of the things that a lot of people don't really understand is that castles were mostly a refuge. You didn't live in a castle most of the time, right? They were basically, if an enemy army was invading and you couldn't defeat it in the open field, you went to your castle, right? You brought 300 wagons, 6 mistresses, and you loaded up. Hopefully the Lord of the Rings mod that they're working on, I can't remember exactly what they're calling it now, but they are working on a very comprehensive Lord of the Rings Bannerlord overhaul. We'll be playing it here on Tactical Enlightenment. I am a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I can practically recite the books verbatim. I know all the characters. I know all the lore. In addition to that, I know like the Silmarillion and stuff like that. I think we might be able to chase down Ghuzid here. Oh yeah, look at this. The Khan, who is definitely turning on Rhylan here, is trying to vote us Oneira. Oneira just revolted. Like, this is basically dumping this impoverished pile of shit city on us. I think we're going to give this thing up because we want this castle. Look at this shit. It's impoverished to loyalty. It's rebelling. It's actively rebelling. There's no food. I mean, what a disgrace. That's almost like giving someone a watch, for Christmas that blows up on the plane and kills their family. That's the gift that keeps on taking. So let's start an episode here. Welcome back again, friends, to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related. Welcome back to I was going to say the east side, the east center side of the map here. We are back with the children of Baron York. Rhylan at the helm of a fairly large army here. We've built up a little influence. We've had some smaller battles just what the doctor ordered. We've got, of course, the companions. Everybody's cruising along. The levels are starting to accumulate. And we've got kind of a Toys R Us mix of troops here. There's one of everything. Rose, Hal. We've got the armies, you know, are the family members. Rose, all these, the Patreon supporters. Your characters are ripping along here. And right before I started this episode, we took a castle. Out east is an absolute mess, so I'm basically just moving west, almost like the Americans in the United States. After they had ripped up the farmland and impoverished it, they just kept moving west, and the rest is history. So we're going to give up this city here. I don't want it. It's a pile of shit. And basically the mechanics, the more cities and castles you have, the less likely you are to be voted for future ones. So it looks like I think we did it for free. I don't think it costs any influence to just give the castle away, which is nice because I didn't want that pile of shit. We want this castle, right? Now, part of the reason is that we are Sultan hunting. Sultan Ghuzid had a very large army. Of course, in the previous episode, I think you saw him cruising around. The Aserai are at war with the Khuzait, and Ghuzid had a very large army right in here. I can't see, there's a fog or a mist or something. Akalat rebelled, sons of bitches. Right here, 14 hours ago. So it looks like, I love this tracking system, although I wish it was less accurate with the numbers. It looks like he headed up maybe to Saniopa. We're gonna chase him down into the fog here. Of course, Ragnvad declared war on us. It's been on and off with them, and how beautiful, right? We get the castle. We don't even have to spend influence. So Rhylan now is starting to acquire influence. He's got a castle he wants. Next, we're shooting for, not Sanopa, it's already taken, but maybe Rotai, right? We might start taking some of the cities in the center of the map. You get a view here of some of the characters. I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time at the beginning of an episode on the characters from this this sort of secondary part of this campaign. Oh shit. We got a problem here. This guy's coming into siege. Let's get some reinforcements here. We've had way too many losses against the Aserai. We got to bring in the war dogs here, even though I'm trying to acquire influence, and these nobles have such ghetto troops. That's better. We got to spend a little bit here. Ghuzid had an army of 2,800 or 2,600 or something like that, and with 1,200 here, we can't fight him. It looks like, I don't know if he'll attack them. It looks like he's heading right by where this other Khuzait force is. So 2,800 it says. So good, right? That's what we want. Oh shit, he's going in hot. He's definitely attacking, I think. I mean, I don't know why he would go that way without attacking. Oh yeah, he's attacking. It says defending. Motherfucking Aserai don't even own Amitatis. The Sturgeons do. And holy shit, 539 Aserai veteran Vanguard Ferris. This is one of the strongest armies we have seen in the campaign. Ghuzid is there. This is going to be ferocious. So, let's see here. These armies are not close. 2,800. We actually outnumber them a little bit, so I think you just fly into combat here. It's not going to be an easy fight by any means, but if I wait for these other forces, that other army will be seriously damaged. There's no other forces nearby that are going to engage in reinforcements, at least nothing that I can see here, so I think you just take a chance. It'd be overnight, or almost overnight before these armies got here, and I like what I see here right now, although that's worrying. Zhao Liang, you will learn more about. Like I said, I will probably have a cutscene or something like that. We will get into the myth and the lore of Zhao Liang. It's going to be an interesting character in this campaign. And this is going to be an interesting battle here. Very tough Aserai force. The proverbial zenful deep breath. Even though this campaign, obviously, it doesn't mean anything, I still get into it with you fellas. You guys riding along with me. You guys can hear the intensity in my voice, right? These battles are intense. They're deadly with the Death for All mod. They're gnarly with so many high-level troops, all kinds of mods, all kinds of amplified characters. Now, we have allies here, or more accurately, we have dipshit Khuzait that's with us here. I'm not sure how much it's going to help, but we're forced to sort of fight with them because otherwise we'd be outnumbered almost 2-1. So let's set up archers here on this ridge. 4th and 5th will just be archers. I want that so I don't get confused. And then, you know, against Consguards, or excuse me, against Vanguard first, you're better off just charging with Consguards because a moving target gets shellacked with, pounded with javelins. I have noticed that it's better to be moving than to get drilled with javelins. You're still going to suffer losses. It's not like you don't get hit still, but if you guys are standing still, they just get absolutely melted by javelins. So we're going to just charge with those horse archers initially here. And I would say, honestly, this early part of this tactical battle is going to be an F1, F3. I've got a few divisions that are sort of strategically positioned. I've got a cav wall here sort of trying to prevent them from loop around on us, protect our archers a little bit. But with all of their units trying to circle and all of our units trying to circle, there's not much tactics here, right? And they have 80 or 90% of the units on the battlefield right now are Vanguard Ferrets because they had so many. So at least the first 5 or 10 minutes of this battle basically is F1, F3, try not to get killed, and then kill as many as you can, as long as you're not killed. Right? Our horse archers are circling. We do have we have an advantage in that our heavy cavalry is kind of slugging it out in the middle while our horse archers circle. But you can see they're not, they're not just completely magnetized to the center. The Vanguard Ferris are, holy shit, that guy's like 10 feet tall. He's fucking stabbing me from 20 feet away. That guy's got one of those amazingly tall camels. He had like war paint too. Let's kill that guy, or at least take him off his camel. That's fucking intimidating. Look at that shit. I gotta jump over the guy just to get a good look at him. He's way up there. Off your camel there, dude. And these poor Dual, or I guess that was an Aserai Lord, right? Because we have Dual. But, oh shit, we already lost our horse. I must have got fucking drilled right in the head or something. Let's get I gotta get a replacement. This is fucking already a mess battle. It's fucking carnage. I got people attacking me. I'm trying to get a horse here, but we're right in the middle of the scrum. It's hard to have these guys get off their horse right now. You lost your horse too, bitches. Pay you back for killing my horse. Rhylan's horse has been incredibly brittle this campaign, but it also might have just taken, a javelin right to the brain. That'll do it. I got fucking bitch ass. Stomps him. Get off the horse. I need a fucking horse here. I can't fight on foot this battle. There's way too much at stake here. I mean, the Sultan is here. We've got to win this battle. Now, of course, we all know, you guys are well aware, that Sultan Ghuzid is basically second in command. Wazuban is in charge. But Ghuzid is no slacker with 2,500 troops and 600 Vanguard Ferris. Plus, he has the legend of Zhao Lihang. I'm going to keep on attaching that proverb, or what's it called, adjective to the guy's name until you learn more. He is a legend. Still chaos here, but the death spam looks pretty good. I don't know what we're doing, actually. It's like that scene in Burn After Reading. What did we do right? I don't know. Well, let's keep doing it. What did we do wrong? What can we learn from that? I don't know. Well, let's make sure we don't do that again. Whatever it is that we don't know what we did, let's not do that again. It's a scrum. It's chaos. I'll try to make some sense of this battle eventually. Trust me, I'm waiting for the opportunity. We got Rose here. Let's protect her. We got our companions, really trying to protect our companions here. Rhylan plays the big brother, right? The protective big brother. He's going to protect Rose. Plus, Rose is this young gal. She's do a little gore here. She's working on her YouTube channel. I love that, right? Our channel's inspiring other people to play Bannerlord, use tactics, and then put it on YouTube. Yeah, it's very difficult to establish yourself as a YouTube content provider, but I didn't think I could succeed either. Doesn't mean that people shouldn't try. It's just understand it's very, very difficult. Whether it's Rose that's hearing this or anybody else, it's literally like 1 in 10,000 channels gets as many subscribers and views as we've been able to, fortunate enough to been able to obtain. So we'll start forming a few lines here. It seems like there's a calm here. The enemy's sort of regrouping after their initial Vanguard Ferris wave was killed. And so I'm going to sort of survey the battlefield here, drag some cavalry around, attack targets of opportunity, and see what to do here. We've got really good defensive lines for once now. We have a little bit of a break in the chaos here. They ran out of Vanguard Ferris. Now they still have cavalry running everywhere. This battle is crazy huge sprawling. I mean, you can see guys way up on the top of the hills fighting and shit like that, but the bulk of the forces are down here. We've got this cavalry ring protecting our 2nd and 5th division. I broke the archers into 2 divisions because we do want to be able to flank, and now we're going to start aggressively moving up. Now, I would not move up if we didn't have an ally here, but the ally moves up, right? They F1, F3, so let's at least move with them and try to work with coordination. It's a chaotic battlefield, though, right? These are the allies. They're just flying in their F1, F3, mouth breathing all the way. Their mouth literally hanging open as they charge. Charge! We're going to try to make a more concerted attack. Looks good so far. It's incredible how much health I have, too. Rhylan has 90% health. So far, so good in this battle. I expected worse. Let's bring these archer divisions up. Just systematically moving forward. I'm trying not to get too far away from our reinforcement spot. That's always a critical thing in a Bannerlord battle like this. You just get too far away and your forces get annihilated, or even partially annihilated. You can kiss the rest of them goodbye, right? Because suddenly you're outnumbered 3-1. Your guys are injured, you're out of ammo, and you're cooked. We got a couple Jawal. I mean, we've got a couple Jawal part of our army, so I don't know why it seemed like the Aserai had Jawal units. I think they're just Aserai lords. It was fucking badass, though. The guy was like 10 feet tall on his camel. Alright, they've got tons of infantry pouring in here. Right, these guys here you charge. We're not about to let these guys just pound our troops, pound our ally. Let's do a little offensive tactics here. I've got horse archer divisions that I'm trying to flank here, but it sometimes does more harm than good, because what it does is it spreads the enemy out instead of concentrate. Now you might say, isn't that better to spread them out? It is if you have mostly infantry. If you have lots of archers and horse archers, it's worse. You want them to be concentrated. So there's a time where you want the enemy spread all over the place, and this isn't one of them. I'm going to do a defensive cav line here on this flank. As our units move up, I don't want them getting strafed by horse archers and jab cav. Get just a little protective layer. That second cav line, you know, it's 3, 4, 5% of our total force, and they can kind of hold the line there. It's comforting to know, too. I can put these crossbow and archers in the center there, and they've got this buffer of horse, so they don't just get stampeded and ripped apart by a bunch of charging horse. Meanwhile, we're starting to bring up our flank over here on this right side. It's the name of the game, right? Flank and don't get outflanked. Got a protective cav layer over there guarding those horse archers. Our infantry is working, although it's very bloody. The enemy, you can see, they're just stacked with high-level troops. Every single unit on the battlefield is tier 5, tier 6. But we're tearing their limbs. Fuck, we lost another horse. That wasn't even my horse. We get another fucking horse here. There's all kinds of archers. I gotta get out of here. I'm gonna get shot to pieces. Take a few shots here while these, while these cavalry come here. Oh, you got fucking ran over, dude. You got slammed by a horse, kicked and smashed. Have an arrow in the face, master archers. You guys are amateur archers compared to Rhylan. He's smoking everybody. Catch one in the jugular. Oh, shit. Alright, here we go. Here's our taxi. Give me your horse. Sorry, fellas. I know it's right in the middle of combat. Do your best. Rhylan moves really fast. He has no shield, right? These guys with high athleticism, no shield, they fucking cruise. Alright, get on your horses there, fellas. What's happening here? It feels like the enemy is routed. We have really smoked the enemy in the early stages here. They have some forces kind of running up randomly, but a lot of their units honestly look like they routed. I can't imagine that they would rout in a battle like this. The Sultan, this is the actual Sultan, in name at least, right? The game thinks he's the Sultan. It's calling him Sultan Ghuzid. There's 2 Ghuzids too, it's weird. There's a Sultan Ghuzid and there's some other Ghuzid. And I don't think they're related. Of course, that happens with the naming system. The enemy, I cannot tell what they're doing. They're coming up kind of piecemeal. 5 guys over here, 5 guys over there. We'll pick off these fucking guys. They want to come up 2 at a time, have a javelin, have a fucking blazing fast glaive, right? Rhylan is becoming savage with his glaive. I forgot we still... I totally forgot we had this cav division following us. We're in good shape, though. We have incredibly tough defensive line set up. Now, we're running low on ammo here, so any attacks we're going to make are going to have to be offensive charges. Second, first. The fourth's got some ammo, but everybody else is pretty low. The second should be shooting, but there's a lot of Sergeant Crossbow holding their shield. That's something that happens with those Sergeant Crossbow, right? They run out of ammo early on. Oh shit, fuck, I saw it coming. Well, you don't have a shield. So hard to avoid that. There goes my good health. Down to half, just like that. Of course, only because he has good armor is he not killed. You take a spear to the face like that. Like if you have mediocre armor, you're one shot. You're watching the channel saying, how'd you survive that? Well, we got high-end armor. Right now, I'm just absorbing the enemy attacks because we're waiting for a large mass to charge. I really don't want to just charge out into here unless we have to, right? We'll make these little quasi-charges as they come up, but I don't want to race away from our side, from our ally, from our reinforcements. So localized charges is the order of the day here as the enemy continues to piecemeal. These guys are fucking getting lit up by infantry. Fuck, they got horse archers circling. 178 horse archers. All right, we gotta deal with this. Let's get a cav division following us here. We'll try to herd these guys towards towards the bulk of our infantry. Then they'll be chasing right through the maelstrom. And we're just gonna have to do the best we can here. We don't have a lot of ammo, so horse archers extra hard to kill. There's one of our giant camels. The motherfucker is huge. If you're wondering what that's from a mod. It's called like extra large camels or something like that. It's improved camels is what I think it is, and it's necessary, right? Camels really don't have a lot of value in Bannerlord, but they do if they're 12 foot tall. Alright, they have forces moving through the center here. Let's charge with this infantry division. They're already engaged, but the rest of our forces here, I think we're going to make a huge enveloping attack on this enemy force. They have tons of archers out here in the valley. I don't really want our forces charging entrenched archers spread out all over the place shooting. We'll wait for the moment to be right here before we make our plunge. We've got to attack offensively here. We just don't have the ammo to swing this battle at range. And just regroup some units here. It's going to be painful on the regroup, but if we can pull this off... Oh shit, we just got a huge amount of cavalry reinforcements. Let's push one division way off to the side. We can do a monster flanking sally and just envelop the enemy with infantry, cavalry, and archers. That way they won't be able to kite, they won't be able to escape. They're routing, I think. What are we doing here? No, they're not. They're forming a huge defensive knot. You motherfuckers. All right. This is going to work. Let's go ahead and put these guys just way off to the side here. Let's move the rest of the units up in a wedge offset in two different directions. Send the cav to the far side. It looks like cavalry. There's a whole bunch of camels in there. Shades of the epic Aserai campaign, right? In that battle, we lost a couple horses. And I say we. Of course, you watching. That was Wazuman. Different world, but a very similar circumstance here. We're going to make an enveloping charge here with our camels. They are in a huge defensive knot. Look at that beautiful position we've got. We've got a V-shaped formation here, going to be able to collapse on both sides. The archers can just charge. The ones that can shoot will still be able to shoot. The rest will come up in melee. And the rest of us here, it's just time for fucking bloody blows, right? It's time to get medieval on these motherfuckers. Let's bring that sixth in from the other side here. Everybody else gets told to charge. It's time for a good old-fashioned Aserai sandwich. I heard they're tasty. Look at them coming in their rear. Just carve through here, men. Let's go. Lion leads the way. Camels charge. Oh shit, I got stood up by the fucking cavalry at the back here. Fuck. Alright, well, we get somebody else here. I want a camel. Give me a camel. Here we go. I got a camel. They are completely wrapped up. Everybody charge. That way they can't escape. And I will circle with this cavalry division. Where the fuck did the enemy go? They just vanished. I think they got swallowed up by all our camels. I mean, I see death spam, so they're killing somebody. Don't just stand there. Kill something. I can't tell where the battle is. Okay, it must be in there. We so completely enveloped them, you can't even see them. I don't think I've ever even seen that. There they are. Here, let's get some horse archers here behind them. We've got a little angle here. We've got all our different camels circling around. It's probably worse just to have these guys standing up, poking the enemy. The back here is kind of open. You see how this side, the enemy's kind of exposed. What we can do here is position cavalry and a horse archer division. Instead of having these guys circle, let's just have these guys stand right here across the river. This will work beautifully. The only area the enemy can escape is going to be camels waiting to fucking butt rape, do some other horrific shit. Oops. I might have to edit that out. And scorch them with arrows here. And just being smoked. And the Sultan gets devoured in this battle. Beautiful. No more reinforcements coming. There could always be trumpets here at the end of the battle, but basically, we smashed the Sultan here with his own camels. Everybody roars. Hell yeah, that was fucking beautiful. Oh shit. Oh shit. Well. Oh man. Well. You guys don't hear me at a loss of words very often. You know, he's lived so long in this campaign. He seems so indestructible. I almost felt like Rhylan couldn't die, but he did die. Wow. Well, war is hell, and that was a bloody battle. Man. Rhylan is killed. Come with us, you bitches. His gnarly war paint. And come with us, Sultan. But, okay, he's alive here still, but this is just because the message hasn't come through yet, or however the process hasn't happened. But he died. Got killed in combat. And I remember thinking like 10 or 15 episodes. You know, I'm surprised not more of the nobles have died. Right? We haven't lost any of the children of Baron York to combat. It's kind of miraculous. And we lose the oldest brother here. The oldest son of the Baron is killed. And you can tell my voice is a little shaky. This means absolutely nothing, fellas. You can just tell I'm invested in this shit, right? You get attached to a character. He's got this legendary glaive, and now I'm trying to think what we bury him in. Just like real life, shit's fragile. I don't want to just leave the guy naked. We're not about to do that. We'll take some of his equipment here. It's too nice, including that legendary glaive. But I think we'll bury him just like this. Or I guess they burned him back then or whatever. Or maybe that's just the sturgeons? How's that work, actually? I can't... Does everybody get burned? Maybe not. But there you have it, right? Death and carnage in this campaign. And it's going to be a feature, right? This is not scripted. This is not... I mean, obviously, you guys know some parts are scripted, but this isn't, right? And I don't have any idea. I haven't actually thought about who to make in charge if Rhylan went down. I mean, his oldest brother is a meathead, an absolute idiot. Rose kind of makes sense, but she can't ride a horse. I think it's going to be Hal. Hal's got some steward, some leadership skills, some medicine skills. I think that makes sense. And we get the grim news here with his party too. I don't know how that works. Lost its leaders. I'm going to assign a new leader. I think you've got to disband your army. Although we don't have an army right now. How come I can't? They're not available right now. I think I had this problem before with Wazoo in the other campaign, and it was so long ago. Guys left, comments probably how to do it, and I just don't remember. So these aren't all armies here, but I got to get some kind of army here. We're very vulnerable. We're in the middle of nowhere, and more importantly, I got to get my bearings here. I'm gonna have to take a little breather. It's a sunny evening, so I think I'm actually going to get a little walk here and then come back to this campaign, because obviously this campaign means nothing. It's entertainment, but you get attached to it. You guys that have invested, what is it, the 40 or 50 hours? Yeah, you've been watching this campaign, and shit happens, right? Guys get killed. It's a mess of a battlefield. Now, it was a heroic victory. If you're going to die, that's the kind of battle you want to win. And he died in an amazing final charge, surrounding and destroying the Sultan's force, right? It's this kind of amazing moment. I almost get a tad emotional, like he died fucking charging the Sultan. It's fucking badass. But indeed, right, the main character is dead. So the next stage of this campaign, and of course we will roll along with the storyline. You know, guys, I'm gonna make this interesting. I bob and weave, so when shit happens that's sort of unexpected, I've got sort of contingency plan A, contingency plan B. And sometimes I take advantage of things that happen. For example, with Baron York and that rebel that kept adding into the battles, he's for sure going to be a noble in the Baron's army, right? That guy's, I don't want to say he saved the Baron, but he helped out a lot. And Rhylan is a strange character. I'm looking at his stuff. Of course, it doesn't help that the steward's 1 up and the riding is 2 down. I'm still discombobulated by this, and I think this is some mod that's fucking this up. But he looks like he's got a lot of growth potential here, right? His one-handed skill is maxed. He's going to be able to do some pole arm. We'll work on his bow. He can ride a horse. He's going to be a capable leader here, and of course, we will bless him with the best weapon known to humankind, right? This legendary glaive. That'll help him get his skills up quick. Man, I'm still shocked, and maybe you guys think I'm just an idiot. Now, I've seen this bug before, and this actually gives me the perfect opportunity to just kind of save the game here. I will reload. I'll take a little break here, and we will be right back. This little error where you can't see the army, it's just blank or whatever. I don't want it to look like that, so a little bit of editing here, a little brief bit of exercise in the sun, and I was going to say Rhylan, and Hal and company will be right back. All right, all loaded, back up, got that bug fixed, and I was thinking about this a little bit while I was walking. I have no idea how I'm going to use Hal. His riding skill is 0. He has 1 focus point, 6 learning rate. I guess he'll pick up some skills there, but man, this is very much like being thrown back into kindergarten, and they're putting those little blocks with letters on it and saying, can you spell cow? So we're gonna have to figure it out here. He's actually strangely spec'd, at least for my perspective, to play this character. He's got bow skill, throwing, one-handed. Clearly his one-handed skill is going to be an asset, and he's going to be a good leader, a great leader, but the rest of his skills are highly suspect. He's got throwing and bow. It's kind of a strange amalgamation of different skills, and I'm not real sure actually what I'm going to do here with Hal. So on some level, of course, you guys are free to participate. Say, I think Hal should do this. I think Hal should do that. It does make sense that we would level his polearm. It's so powerful in Bannerlord. You can't actually use it with the shield, right? We could actually do polearm with the shield and javelins, but then how do you use the one-handed, right? Do you run with a single stack of javelins and then a shield? In other words, exactly what we have here. How does the bow fit in? Obviously, it's best in Bannerlord to be a jack of no trades, right? To be a master of a few particular trades. The jacks of all trades, it doesn't work particularly well as a commander, in my opinion. Of course, again, you guys can feel free to leave feedback. I'm a little uncertain, of course, as to what to do here. Now, I'm not uncertain about putting good armor on him, right? We're going to be in the thick of it. He's a melee character. He doesn't really ride a horse. I am going to try to level up his riding skill. There's no question it's necessary to command better at Bannerlord, but more importantly, you guys can't see shit, right? Fighting on the field level is kind of fun here and there, but for large-scale battles, you guys have noticed a tendency for me to fight 80% of it on horse, sometimes 100% of it, just because it's so much harder to observe a lot of the action when you're down on foot. Now, I don't know why. I'm not quite certain. I guess because the group disbanded, right? The group that Rhylan was leading effectively disbanded. So look at these captains are in Odok. They were with our army a few minutes ago and they get teleported hundreds of miles away. One thing I do know is we need troops. We need troops ASAP, right? Especially since this is our only location here. It's time to form Hal's first army here. Now I'm going to minimize our army just a little bit here because you notice his influence. So I'm dumping some of these sort of weaker armies that are with us. I mean, under 100 influence. That's a consequence of many different things, but obviously I think getting killed in that big battle or some other factor maybe that I'm not aware of really fucked with our influence hard. We had it up to about 500. Now it's down to 100. Now the Sturgeons want peace. That's kind of interesting, right? Because they're down here, right? They're going to be a threat on top of the Aserai. I'm probably going to leave that to the nobles. In fact, with 100 influence, let me just rephrase that. It is up to the nobles. It's not up to us. Trying to think of the best way to do this where it's expeditious but also optimal for Hal. We'll just dump all the shit, I gotta do it the other way. Let's dump all the weakest troops. There's no question we're gonna stack Hal's army here. This is our only castle. And of course we want to get this guy off to a good start. We don't want him getting captured. There is something to humankind about first impressions. Our brain very much latches onto it. It's a psychological phenomenon because we have no other sample size, right? If you go on a date and you kiss her for the first time and it's the worst breath you've ever smelled, it's kind of presumed that that's her normal breath, right? So because you have nothing else to compare it to. So we do want to get Hal off to a good start here. I don't want to dump all these troops. There's really nice troops here. I'm going to try to form somewhat of an infantry army with Hal, although right now he doesn't have very many infantry. I'm not actually sure what kind of army I'm going to be forming with Hal. Of course, his personality is sort of unknown, right? We haven't been getting too deep into the weeds on the brothers and sisters and their personalities and stuff like that. I guess maybe I should have had a contingency plan for the main character getting killed. What we do have is we have a very powerful army. When we took this castle, the armies that were with us dumped a bunch of troops in there, which is going to be very, very useful here at the beginning. 1,100 troops and probably 70-80% are tier 4 and 5. So we can get some food. We swing around to Lycaron, and we should be off and running here. Immediately off and fighting here. And look we've had our castle for like 12 hours, and angry armies are heading this way. We already destroyed Ghuzid. Here comes more Aserai forces. Now Sestadaim, I vaguely remember Sestadaim village as a defendable village. So let's see what we do here. I don't want to fight it at night. I think I can lure this guy up to that village and destroy them at that village. It has a layout, if I remember right, it has kind of like a garden tier layout. It'd be a beautiful village to live at. I wish we were at Popsia. Popsia is just north of here, has one of the best layouts. And he is indeed chasing us here. So that means two things. We're going to be able to fight at the village, and number two, the AI thinks they can win here. Let's just take a peek. I could still turn around and okay. I could fight him wherever he is right now, and it might not be the village map, but this is the one I want. It's tiered downward. It's going to work beautifully. We've got horse archers that can flank in those big open fields, and they're only slightly favored, so I like our chances here. A little deep breath. More stress in this campaign. It'll be funny if Hal gets... I guess it won't be funny, but Hal could get killed in his first battle. This is just, going to be a feature of this campaign. I'm sure some guys are cringing, saying the death for all is too high. We're going to roll with it. Frankly, I've got a ton of different Patreon and YouTube supporters that want their character in the campaign. So understand when you join the campaign, you're like... I'm trying to think of an example. I was going to say you're like you're like a celebrity on Trump's show. You're at high risk of being fired, or in this case, being killed. I'm not going to get political here, but we'll put it to you this way: like your character is walking on thin ice the entire time they're in the campaign. Now, some of them have survived an incredibly long time, including Marshal Saxe. Right, that character has literally been around since the beginning. And look at this tasty division. It's all Palace Guards and Manabliatons. Thank you very much. That's going to do really well. We can pair it with this division. I wonder how many shields we have in here. We don't have a crossbow companion, but these NPC lords or whatever, they've got decent skills kind of across the board, and they make pretty good division commanders, even if they don't have that weapon spec. So crossbow division. Yeah, look at that. That's nasty. And of course, we talk about all the time. Sergeant Crossbow is literally one of the best tier 5 units in the game. I think you could make an argument it is the best tier 5 unit in the game. I know some guys will argue that fact, and they'll say Fiends, or they'll say whatever, the Keshig, the Khonsguard equivalent, but I think the versatility of the Sergeant Crossbow probably makes them the best tier 5. Now, with tactics, maybe the Wildling, right? The Wildling is also incredibly powerful. Alright, so 5th, 6th, let's just put the Horse Archer divisions down here on the flank. They'll be able to spray arrows across the valley, and if the enemy commits to them, we'll be okay with that, because then we'll be able to close in on them and trap them. They can't catch our Horse Archers, right? The mega advantage of the Horse Archers is that you basically control... shit, I'm stuck here. Out of the way, fellas. Make way for your new commander. The nice thing about Horse Archers is you control the battle. It's an incredibly valuable asset from that perspective. You essentially decide when and where the battle gets fought. Unless, of course, the enemy's being defensive. But then, you have the option of shooting him with 80,000 arrows. So you can see pretty readily why Genghis Khan and all his children conquered Europe. I mean, it's a pretty potent thing, especially in the hand of a commander. So I'm just going to block off this left side here. This village lends itself beautifully to just closing off half the access to our army. Right now there's 3 or 4 layers of cavalry with shock troops behind it. Good luck assaulting that. Now they may not attack, but probably going to. Or actually, no, they have to attack. I was thinking for a second that we engaged them. They attacked us. They wanted this battle. It's like Tom Cruise in that movie where he's beating people. What is that, Reacher or whatever? He's like, just so you know, you wanted this. You asked for this, right? Let's see what he's got here. The combat skills. All right. He gained 18 skill in riding with one javelin throw. That'll work. Oh shit, he's still really slow though. So very much like I've got those blocks and they're telling me to spell shit. Now if you wonder what I'm doing with the 4th division here, this is a feint block. I'm purposefully playing defense at the beginning, absorbing the blows, letting our other archers work, and sucking the enemy in because our horse archers are raking. Right to our right, our horse archer, you can hear the arrows just raking the enemy. The 5th Corps is behind me. Our shock troops can be unleashed. Okay, we're getting allies. I'm worried that we're going to get reinforcements the other way. That would be a real bummer for his first fight. But that's allies helping, which is even easier. Alright, this ain't so bad, right? He's like, Rhylan in slow-mo and swinging his glaive. I mean, Rhylan was such a beast character. He's gaining polearm and riding skills by the dozen. And the villagers did not join. Good, good. So the reinforcement system is working beautifully. Alright, this infantry just fucked themselves. They are now in between. Crossbow that's very capable of fighting. Oh shit, he's got short legs. Just like his brother. And now we're pulling infantry towards us. 1st and 3rd division are coming towards us. They're being absolutely shredded by 3 different directions. And now the infantry can be told to charge. Tactics still work, even if you have a rookie commander. It's part of the reason I think our channel is so valuable. You don't have to have a good army in Bannerlord to just shred it with tactics. This army thought they could beat us, and they are just losing. They're being massacred. As I'm going to say Rhylan at least 20 times. I'll give myself an allowance for 20 Rylans here. I was going to say Rhylan that time. We'll say I didn't use one there. As Hal gets his beat on here. He's going to get some beat down of this totally mangled and trapped Aserai force. It's amazing how bad you can pulverize the enemy with tactics. I mean, they were favored slightly to win this battle with tactics, and they are just getting annihilated. And they're getting 1 kill like every 30 allied kills. I was worried this was going to be close. I guess we better seal the deal here before I get too cocky. But with horse archers in these open fields, it's like a cheat code. 150, 200 horse archers to your right flank, just firing away while the rest of your troops fight in concert. The enemy has about no chance. Now, this is a nice little benefit, right? Gigantic pizza oven shield. Rhylan didn't have this, right? This is a little bit like the Baron. Cavalry come towards you, you're just like, no, I guess I can't stand him up very well. But I can play defense a little bit with Hal, right? And of course, he does have a one-handed weapon. I don't know how much I'll use that in combat. We'll see. Ah, man. That guy ruined my one fucking perfect javelin kill. I was going to smoke this palace guard. But he's going to be usable, right? And of course, we're going to level skills like crazy. He's, what was he, level 29, right? So he's going to be level 35 in like 2 episodes. Especially if we can get a siege on, right? His athleticism will go nuclear. And it's going to be a process, but I think this is actually just fine for the campaign. It's realistic too, right? Sometimes you would lose a great war leader. Henry V, for example. Agincourt, guy got killed. I think, God, how did he die? I think he just got sick. Like, he was on campaign. He was like 30. He had that incredible battle at Agincourt and got sick and died, of course, which is a very common occurrence in the medieval era. But, you know, obviously the English had to jump to the next guy. It's kind of always next guy up, right? Next man up. Especially in the medieval era where you get, you know, a cut across your quadricep and you fucking die of sepsis. It's not like they had any kind of medical care for that. It was a bottle of whiskey if you were lucky, or the equivalent. Whiskey, of course, wasn't invented yet, but you know, it was good luck, right? It was some spirits. If you were lucky, you got some spirits. Otherwise, you bit on a stick while they cut out the wound, and you know, maybe they cut off your leg to increase odds of survival. I don't know, whatever it was fucking horrific. We have them on the run here. This battle is over. The AI does not know what to do here. They're basically they're pretending to fight. It's like that joke about communist Russia. They said, we pretend to work and they pretend to pay us. Right? These guys pretend to fight and we pretend, I don't know, we actually killed them. I mean, it's hard to believe that this was a battle they were favored. They aren't just being liquidated. I almost got to check to make sure that the difficulty wasn't checked. I don't think we altered the difficulty, and we don't even have our top captains, right? We're missing our captains. They're not even with us. They're hanging out in some city hundreds of miles away. They caught a teleporter. And this is like riding the old bike here, right? He's clearly not Rhylan. Rhylan was turning into a monster beast. And I suppose on a balancing level, maybe it's good for the campaign as well. You can develop such a powerful army and character that it's very hard to be beat, even with all these mods. Although, you know, we've been suffering our fair share of losses in this campaign. You get moments of jubilation like this, and more than likely what's going on here between the tactics, our really powerful army. Also, there were no juggernaut artificial units in this Aserai force, right? We have edited, I think I edited about 20 characters, 25 characters for this campaign. We whipped the bastard in just piles of perk points, but I didn't notice any of the edited, so to speak, guru uber characters in this battle. So 1 for 1, and it's kind of nice to get a training wheel battle to start here. Now we're taking all of these elite infantry. We need another 40 prisoner. So I am going to at least start. My initial philosophy here is going to be to build somewhat of an infantry-heavy army. I'm happy for this campaign to have multiple different facets to it. Obviously, the Baron likes his heavy cavalry and infantry. You got plenty of a dose of ranged units with Horse Archer Massacre with Rhylan. And now maybe we'll do, you know what we'll do here? We'll do some skirmishers. They got some fucking skirmishers in here. We can do some infantry tactics. There's plenty of guys out there. In fact, that's probably the most commonly asked thing for tactics is infantry tactics. A legendary executioner axe. There's a nice find for your first battle. We get a legendary armor and a legendary executioner axe. It's only tier 5, so it's not like an unbelievably nice piece of equipment. But for a campaign where you don't use smithing, we'll take it, right? We'll stick that on somebody for sure. All right, let's go get some food. We got to level up his steward skill, right? Once we get all different kinds of food, we should be able to get a lot of it at Lycaron. We're going to be able to level the shit out of Hal. I almost said it again. Out of Hal's steward skill. That's one of the easiest ways to do it. Is just to make sure your army, you have a large army, and they're eating all the different 9 types of food. Evidently, that's all it takes to become an excellent manager in the medieval era. Never mind boots and clothes and all the other shit. Yeah. Now, let's just see what happens here. There's sturgeons ahead of us. Look at this shit. The other nobles don't want peace. Even though we're fighting 2 juggernaut kingdoms, you got these warmongers. There's always some martial warhawks out there, right, that are just pugnacious. They want to fight everybody. They're like that Denzel Washington's character in Glory. And that's what we got going on here. And we're gonna... Let's see what happens here. This guy might run. We outnumber him. There's other sturgeon. There's kind of chaos going on, right? There's all kinds of roaches, Khuzait forces here. I think we're going to have battle here. And it's going to be at Popsia, right? Popsia is the other village, although he kind of ran away at the last second. Let me see what that looks like. We're probably going to get some other armies to add here. Ragnar is here. Malkron Heavy Hand is here. So this is a tough battle, but we outnumber them.
On my orders!
Oh, shit. Let's change the lighting on this.
Archers!
First and foremost, it's fucking super glaring. 2, 3, 4. Let's get 3 horse archer divisions and normal stuff, right? We're gonna just split the units. We'll adjust the lighting here, and let's see what our allies doing. I forget, of course, your ally when you're a vassal, they just do whatever the fuck they want. They look like they're suiciding. There we go. That's much better. Let's see what they're doing. Let's see what the sturgeons are doing here, and then let's assess what we're going to do in this battle. Hal here, King Hal, right? King Hal was one of the. Was that the nickname for Henry V? I think so, right? You guys, of course, can enlighten my ignorance. This is tactical enlightenment, and I count on your guys' wisdom as well. Wisdom is just an accumulation of fucking people telling me shit. That's all it is. I think it was, right? Henry V, of course, Shakespeare's play. I'm pretty sure he was King Hal, although maybe that name was first given to Henry VIII. Oh shit, we're gonna get killed here by a very angry sturgeon lord yelling, "Kill them all at me. Have a shield, motherfucker." That's where you know, if you're Rhylan, you're in trouble. Who is this? Oh shit, this is Ragnar Lothbrok. Let's try to take his horse out. I don't want to fight this guy. If we can take his horse out, at least we can run away from him. He's yelling hundreds of orders. Who knew Ragnar Lothbrok was over-caffeinated? Look how fast he's moving compared to me. I have no chance of catching him. I really do feel like I'm playing the game with the level 12 character, because normally you don't have this weak of combat skills with your main character. But we're going to roll with it, unless there's like widespread objection from you fellas. It's going to be an interesting little element here. Playing with 30 riding skill or whatever the hell he has. He's not incompetent. It's not like he has no perk points. He's going to level pretty quickly. And then, of course, I'm going to apply a lot to the skill set I want to make this guy, which is probably going to be... actually, I'm not sure. It's really such an amalgamation. I might go with bow, right? His brother Henry has a bow. He's got a big two-handed mace. We couldn't have Henry lead the clan, though. Henry is literally as dumb as a rock. Like, there are rocks out there that have much higher intelligence. And Henry is, I think he is 1 for intelligence, social, all of those skills. So we can't have Henry lead. It had to be either Rose or Hal. And since we're in the medieval era where women were basically just portable vaginas, we will have Henry lead that. And of course, I'm not being sexist. This is just the reality of it. The women out there, the wives out there that want to see, you know, the series be a little bit more progressive. All I can say, of course, is women have a prominent role, right? And they're not all just mistresses. Whether it's the Baroness Lyanna or other women in the campaign and in the series, they're going to have a role. And of course, Rose is ripping it with their axe too, right? So we got a firefight so far. It's really interesting. I did not expect the sturgeons to engage at range. But of course, in this campaign, the Sturgeons have really vast territory. So they have all kinds of archers. They have Sergeant, Imperial Sergeant Crossbow. They got Fiend Champs. They got all kinds of units. They got Consguards. The Sturgeons in this campaign are terrifying because they're diversified. A diversified army is almost always harder to beat, right? They literally have all the best units. They have Consguards. Of course, they have the Varangians. And I probably won't use Varangians, by the way, of course, other than just an occasional one that slips in. I think I talked about it before with Rhylan. It's too much of an advantage. They're too powerful, especially in the hands of a good tactician. You combine them with Aserai, Vanguard, Ferris, Master Archers, and Imperial Sergeant Crossbow, and you could pretty much take over Russia. That gal yelled something about, oh, I'm gonna rip you apart, and then she got stabbed to death. I'm digging the shield, right? Rhylan would have been scorched right there and smashed in the face. It's a very different battle all of a sudden, switching to this guy mid-episode. Of course, I took a little walk, got some vitamin D and skin cancer, screwed these archers up. I'm starting to get aggressive here because they think they can fight us at range. I don't think they can. Right? We've got horse archers. In fact, they just changed. It's almost like they heard me. They're like, well, we better charge them. Let's back these horse archers. They probably can't fight us either way, and as long as we can fight toe-to-toe with their infantry. Now, of course, that remains to be seen. It's going to be Varangians. We do have crossbow positioned above them, a nice shock troop division. Watch us get melted now in this battle. Probably shouldn't have said too much. And of course, get out of my way. What the fuck is this division doing here? I got all jammed up. This division is a nightmare for horse archers. Or this battlefield. Of course, we've already had some calamitous losses in this battlefield. I am aware, on some level that there's some monotony to this campaign. There's only so many battles you could show before you're going to hit some of the same battlefields. I think there's 130 or something like that, landscapes or not including villages. You're going to have some duplication, but I can't just skip this battle over this guy's second big battle. We can't just say it went well. You can read about it, next year. I got to show you some of these battles, especially since this is kind of fun for me. We're basically, for some reason, Hal is just boss moding these lethal enemies. I mean, this is powerful Sturgeon forces, and we're steamrolling them so far. I mean, maybe Hal is the leader, right? Rhylan had some skill as sort of a leader commander, but Hal is a superior leader. And it could just be, anecdotal evidence, a couple of different sieges or a couple of different battles so far, but it just feels easy so far. Granted, we're not facing, 4,000 units. But we're just systematically pushing up on the Sturgeons here. Their infantry's dying in the valley. We have horse archers spraying them from behind. Their archers are in a bad spot. We got horse archers moving up on them. These guys are going to rout soon. We're going to be able to drive cavalry right through here. I've got this division back here distracting attention. Now we can just drag it right through here. This is going to cause them chaos. They're going to be running all... Oh, shit. Okay, run. Let's go. I'm in real trouble now. I'm just dragging this horse division behind me, trying to not get killed. Guys are swinging weapons right behind me. Let's just drag these horse archers. At least it is distracting. These fiend champs and whatnot are chasing me off the map here. Fuck off. I'm trying to command. Alright, you know what? Let's call in the posse here. Let's call in this 8th Division up in this pocket up here, and let's have them put the beat down. I just happen to have a shield here. Fuck you. Get over here, bodyguard. I got this annoying little fiend. Now, sick him, boys. It's too bad he didn't get dismembered and his arms and limbs go flying in the air because that guy got fucking executed Connie-scored style. Alright, let's get some archers pushed up on these ridges here. The enemy is pushing reinforcements in quick. I should probably get a horse, but I don't know. This guy's he's probably better off on foot. He's got good athleticism. I can run away from enemies. Still got 3/4 of my health bar. For some reason, we have a bunch of camels still. It's really odd. Eat that shield, motherfuckers. Yeah, my friends are here. You guys are fucked. And this is just free and easy, right? He's ripping guys and smashing them with this polearm. It takes 3 or 4 shots to kill guys, but You know, this is it's feeling pretty good right now. I'm enjoying it. And unless something changes here, right? Victories, huge victories. I don't know if they're huge victories, but big victories anyway. In Hal's, oh shit, there's tons of infantry storming Hal. You know, in his first 2 battles, he gets successful victories. I don't know, you know, if I expected that for sure. And to be honest, they're whipping us, right? We're smashing the Sturgeon force, and there were elite Sturgeons in this force. There weren't elite Aserai forces, but there were some of the high-end Nord Lords, Malkron, Heavy Hand, and shit like that. It's not the highest end. There is sort of tiers to it. You guys will sort of learn that as we roll along in this campaign. Just, you know, for enrichment while I run for my life here. I'm just trying to get behind these guys so I can command. Okay, you guys keep chasing me, dipshits. I'll cut down your friends. Numero uno is Wazuban, right? For deadliness, overall, his character is just insane off the charts. Way up there for sure is Glaron, Heavy Hand. They're basically brothers. One of them's bigger than the other. I'm in trouble now. I'm getting smashed, almost dead. Trying to cover which lords are badass and getting fucking carved apart. There's enemies everywhere, but the enemy's also being liquidated here. They're really after fucking my character here, though. Maybe it's because all the other units are on horse and they can't catch him. It's like I got a sign on my head that says fucking, he's the guy. Kill this guy. And I'm finally surrounded here. Fuck off. Man, these guys are on him. Well, down he goes. I think this battle is over. I'm looking at the enemies fleeing here. They're getting steamrolled through the valley. So for sure, Wazuban, right? Wazuban is a monster character. That's necessary because he was a beast in the previous Aserai campaign. It's awesome. Basically fighting against yourself. It's too bad he doesn't have the tactics of the channel. You know, with some AI, generative AI, although I suppose it would make us weep pretty fierce. But Zuvan is way up there, right? Zuvan is also another character from a previous campaign. Incredible stats. I think he's level 55 or something like that. Glaron, Heavy Hand, I already mentioned. Ragnar Lothbrok is kind of right behind that top 2 as far as stats. And what I mean by it, like, these guys have 500 in some of the skills. Just totally off the charts. You get hit by their axes and you're probably insta-dead. So they made a little stand here at the end, but 2 for 2 so far for... I better not call him King Hal. He's just a vassal still, but so far so good. Make sure nobody died. Your butt puckers a little tiny bit. I'm like, oh man, nobody died. And away we go here, right? Hal. What is this? This got a 13-year-old in this battle. You do not look 19. Come with us. Where's your ID? Take some more of these troops. Again, I think we'll skip the Varangians, right? We'll take the occasional one that sort of slips into our allies' armies, but we're not going to put them in our army. Just another way we can make this campaign ultra difficult. And our prisoner load is already over full. All right, this has been a full episode with some unexpected twists and turns, and this kind of shit's going to happen sometimes, right? This is going to be par for the course. We had, looks like reinforcements stormed in there. Of course, there was a bunch of these little armies around us beforehand, and that might have been part of the reason we won, although it wasn't thousands of troops. It looks like 500 or 300. And the beats just keep on coming here. So, what do we do here? We got to get food. We're going to like run out of food soon. I'm going to take a chance and run to Lycaron here, but I'm also going to wrap this episode up, friends. Of course, if you enjoyed this episode, if you want to see more from this campaign, and I can promise you the twists and turns are not done yet. It's going to get even crazier. You want to subscribe, hit notifications if you want to know when new episodes come out. There's a playlist, of course, for the entire campaign on the channel. And with all that said, friends, I will see you fellas next time.